Let's say you are deep in a coding project and you're making pretty good progress. You relegate some side task off to an AI. You say, go think about how to solve this problem while I'm gonna go work on this other one. It's chugging along, thinking, making changes, running commands, and then it stops. It needs your permission to continue. You catch out of the corner of your eye and you relegate your focus back to see what it needs, and it's a CD command. Fine, you approve it, you move back on, it boots back up, you start to get back into your flow state again. This friction has been the killer of agentic AI coding tools. That autonomy that we were promised was never really autonomous. You were always in the loop, even for tasks that you really didn't need to be. It absolutely kills the flow state, and it's always disjointing. AI coding tools are getting really good, but can still struggle with architecture or asking questions such as, should we even build this? When all of your time is spent approving, not enough time is spent thinking. Last week, on March 24th, 2026, Anthropic released Claude Code Auto Mode, and it's quite a neat tool. If you care how AI-assisted development can actually be autonomous, you need to understand what just happened. And every week I read a new feature, a new use case, a new scenario that just occurred. If you're feeling overwhelmed by the constant flood of AI news, I'm not surprised, I am too. But here is the good news. You can ignore a significant portion of the fluff and only focus on what matters. However, it can be hard to distinguish what is important, especially when you're learning, and what isn't. That is why Interview Kickstart has a course directly tailored to agentic AI, where ambitious upcoming engineers and scientists such as yourself learn from highly qualified mentors and gain hands-on experience. If you're interested in checking out their 14-week Agentic AI course, I'll leave a link below to their free webinar. Come meet the team, see if it's a fit. Back to Claude Code here though. For those that may not know, Claude Code is Anthropic's terminal native AI coding agent. Now this is not in your IDE or your VS Code, this is in its own terminal. It launched in May 2025 and in about 8 months became the most loved AI coding tool among developers, sitting at 46% most love rating. Cursor, an IDE, was at 19%, GitHub Copilot at 9%. It lives in your terminal, reads your files, writes code, runs bash commands, tests, debugging, everything you can think of, all in a continuous loop without you micromanaging every step. Well, that was the hope. That was the promise. In actuality, it feels more like a child asking for permission for everything. Let me nuance this a little bit because it's not that simple. Claude Code ships with a couple inbuilt modes that try to help this. There's the default, where every command and every file write you have to approve. It's safe, but it's slow. Claude can slowly build up a registry of what it's allowed to do, but it's still really painful. There's this auto accept edits mode where code changes will happen automatically, but bash commands require permission. If it wants to run some Python, that requires permission. It still is asking you a lot. It's better, but it's particularly painful when you're trying to run the code and run a bunch of tests at once, because every single test is having to stop and ask you. And then there's a flag titled dangerously skip permissions. And this flag tells Claude to do whatever it wants. No questions asked. Developers were using this just to get some peace and quiet during long sessions, and it had also led to many a developer to see either everything on fire or nothing at all as it's all been deleted. The gap between those two was enormous. Either you were holding the AI on a leash, or you handed it a loaded weapon with the safety off. There was nothing in between. This auto mode that was just released starts to fill that gap. When you enable auto mode, Claude does not just start doing whatever it wants. Instead, every action Claude intends to take gets evaluated by a completely separate classifier model before it executes. Essentially, Claude is coming up with the plan, and then there's this independent pseudo safety reviewer checking each action as it comes up. That second model only sees your original request, not any of this first model, this Claude's original reasoning. Not the conversation history, nothing, just your original request. Your intent versus the proposed action. In Claude Code now, you do have this Control-E shortcut that explains what a bash command is doing in plain English. That classifier is doing that, but running automatically on every single command before it executes and evaluating it. This classifier allows some things to run automatically. file edits scoped to your project, deleting files inside of your specified repository, installing packages that are already listed in your manifest files, and read-only API calls. Pretty, non-dangerous stuff. But what the classifier automatically blocks are mass file deletions, pushing to your main or default branch by force, running external or untrusted code, and actions that look like they were influenced by prompt injection. This is malicious instructions hidden inside files or web pages that Claude is reading. And that last one, prompt injection and cybersecurity, are no joke. Just last week, Light LLM, one of those popular Python packages for routing LLM API calls, with 95 million monthly downloads, was backdoored in a supply chain attack. Attackers first compromised Light LLM's own CI/CD security scanner, used it to steal PyPy published credentials, then pushed malicious versions that silently harvested API keys, cloud credentials, SSH keys, and crypto wallets even, for every machine that installed it. The packages were live for about 5 hours before PyPy quarantined them. So this was a huge one, and downstream projects hit include DSPy, MLflow, and CrewAI, with over 500,000 infected devices. If Claude keeps attempting a blocked action repeatedly, it escalates to asking you directly rather than it just silently failing. You're staying in control without being constantly interrupted by all the safe tasks. That whole promise of AI is autonomy, or the idea that you can hand off a complex, multi-step task and go focus on something else. That really has largely been theoretical in practice because of this permission friction. Developers who really wanted that experience were forced into that dangerous propositions. There is a reason why many are going to buy separate Mac minis or virtual machines just to get this experience without compromising security, and even then you're not fully safe. Auto Mode makes long, autonomous coding sessions actually viable without sacrificing this safety architecture. You can now say, build this feature, write the tests, clean up the code, and expect something to get done without you needing to sit there and approve every command as it does so. This classifier is not perfect. It may occasionally allow something it should block. It also may sometimes block something completely benign. My recommendation is still to run in a sandbox or isolated environment when you are using this auto mode. But Anthropic's own data suggests that around 93% of permission requests that Claude is giving are approved regardless of what it wanted to do. So if you are one of the ones that was blindly accepting anything, which it's a lot of us, this feature only helps you. Quick size up before you go try this. If you are on a Pro or Max individual plan, this auto mode is not quite yet available to you. As of launch, it is restricted to team and enterprise plans, with API access rolling out shortly after. There's no announcement yet on when it comes to individual plans, but when it does so, you're gonna wanna be ready and use this immediately. AI has transformed and iterated fast. We started at the chatbot and funny little image generators. Then we moved to the copy-paste era. This was asking questions, copy-pasting some code, testing, and then re-asking that same chatbot when it inevitably didn't work because it didn't know the context or just wasn't very good. Next, we had that AI writing some code in the actual files for you, but that was kind of all it could do. Then we had an AI that could handle the feature if you're guiding it closely, giving it permission, making sure that it's not going off the rails too much. And now we have AI that can execute a multi-step engineering task autonomously while a whole separate safety system is watching its every action to ensure that you are safe. This trajectory is not subtle, and there is no evidence of it slowing down. These tools are becoming ingrained into people's workflows and day-to-day lives. Developers who understand how these tools work are using them effectively at a huge advantage right now. Knowing when to apply each technique is a huge differentiator. If you are in data science, software engineering, machine learning, or really any technical field, AI-assisted development is not coming. It is here. Are you prepared for it?